Hey guys, I realize it's been a long time since I've been on this channel. There's a few reasons and I thought I'd quickly explain, but most importantly, I'm bringing you really great news. If you're still interested in my baking, there is something amazing that has happened. So, first things first, let's just quickly go through. So I was baking pretty consistently and uploading on the channel with some ideas of my own, and also sometimes just like other recipes that I like to make. But the thing is, with a full-time job and YouTube being relatively difficult to operate sometimes and slow to start, it was very slow for me at the beginning, and I just wasn't getting enough revenue to kind of keep things going because long story short, you were basically spending more than what you were getting back. So it was very difficult to keep that going. That is kind of why I eventually moved away from the channel. But I didn't stop working on like the baking stuff, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. So as of I think it was about 4 years or 5 years ago, I started a project. The idea was I wanted to make a cheesecake ebook, just a book revolving all around cheesecakes and focusing on that. I was curious what kind of cheeses I could use, and how could I make every cheesecake be really different from each other. Just how far I can push the limit and make it fun, really taste really good, and just be interesting for everyone. So it was a really fun project for me, and actually with a full-time job, it was taking forever to get from, I guess, like testing the recipe was actually kind of the easiest part with the designing. But editing was just something that was very sort of painstaking and time consuming, and it was very difficult to work, full-time job, come home, and then really want to like just jump onto another project. Anyway, it's basically I procrastinated a lot, but finally I sat down, I took a week off, and I finished off like the last bit of it and just really went through everything and did all the editing. As of yesterday, as of this morning, early this morning, my book has gone live. It's called Pretty Great Cheesecakes. You can find it on Amazon Kindle. So I want to tell you a little bit about it, why you should support me, why is it going to be good for you if you're interested in baking, or if you love cheese or cheesecake. This book is definitely just directed at you. But don't be scared if you're also like someone new to baking and haven't really baked for a long time before, or if you just you want to get into it but you don't know how. This book is also kind of like directed for people like you, amateurs and people who are experienced should be able to enjoy it. That's what I had hoped when I was designing it. So this book has lots and lots of flavors. That's the first thing. We do like basically a variety of cheese, trying to push like different kinds, like cottage, some of the ones like quark, and don't know why I said it like that, cream cheese, ricotta. These are like your common cheese selections, whether in this country or maybe some other countries more common. But then it goes into like things that are a little bit less often seen when you go outside to a commercial setting like a cafe or something, like blue cheese cheesecakes you might not get as often, but not just blue cheese, but like combining with a lot of variety of flavors. Coffee cheesecake, there's a lot of things that I'm trying to mix up and play around with. There's also like some flavors that are a bit more out there. There's also a vegan recipe included, so there is something for you guys as well. But it was not really just because I wanted to include everyone's dietary requirements, but I just kind of wanted to really see how different I can make them and have fun and try to make it delicious. More than anything, a dessert should be tasty. And then I guess aesthetics comes after that for me. So this book goes through a lot of things. It actually covers a lot of basic things like how do you fold, or how do you prepare a pan, like line it with paper and line it for like water baths. It goes into details for that, so you can constantly reference those pages when you're going through the whole book. Especially if you're new to this, then it really gives you a good idea. The other thing is it's got both cups and metric measurements, so good for people who don't want to do any conversions of their own before they like finally get to a project. I know a lot of people, that's kind of the last thing you want to do, just be like, oh, I want to bake this, but now I have to like convert everything, look at everything, calculate everything, and then finally get to baking. So that part's out of the way. The other thing is I made it so that you can have easy access to ingredients both as an ingredient section for every recipe, but also while you're reading through the recipe, so you don't have to keep kind of scrolling back. That is one of the things I wanted to do because I thought that would be something that was more convenient for me when I'm baking. So that was the thought behind it. With the methods, there's lots of detailed instructions, but there's also step-by-step photos pretty much. So this is pretty much why the book is so long. It's 231 pages, not including the dedication and the cover page and the contents page. But yeah, so it has a lot of pictures. It's partially why it took a very long time to produce, because one, I had to design, test them, but I also had to take photos by myself while I was making the cheesecakes, and then finish them off, garnish them, take more photos, edit them, and then like organize everything into the formatting and all that for the book. But anyway, pretty great cheesecake. It's got heaps of stuff. I want to show you some pictures of some of my favorite ones, but I don't want to give too much away. But some of my favorite ones, I guess, would be, I think, strawberry lemonade Moscato cheesecake was one of the really great ones. I love the durian cream and ginger cheesecake. Horchata custard cheesecake was also a really good one. What else? Peanut butter swirl cheesecake was one of the most iconic ones. I was so happy with how it turned out when I came up with that one. And I love like popcorn in desserts, and this one does include popcorn in one way. So, but you'll have to get it to find out. Cookies and cream, it's really standard. I'm probably going to end up like talking about every cake, but I'll stop with one more after this. But cookies and cream I want to mention because cookies and cream cheesecake is such a classic and it's everywhere. But for me, I've not eaten that many, and I haven't actually had one that I like yet so far. I always find them to be more sweet and not quite cheesy enough for me. And for me, I actually quite like a little bit of that cheesy, acidic kick when I have a cheesecake, even if it's a cold set one. So this one is one that is less sweet and quite tangy and acidic with that cream cheese and, you know, like cheesecake iconic flavor, but also has a lot of cookies and cream Oreos inside. And one of the other ones I really like was also coconut brulee cheesecake. It's one of those cakes that just has such a rustic look and rustic finish, but is just so justified and looks perfect, you know. And it's got this brulee top, which is amazing. It's got like all these coconut flavor packed into it, which was another thing I was tackling for that recipe. It's just a lot of coconut cakes just don't have enough coconut flavor. So this one was basically tackling that, packing in as much coconut flavor as I could at the time while still making it a cheesecake. And it's, again, probably a flavor that isn't as often seen. At least I haven't really come across it very often. But anyway, so I hope you guys like it, and please support me because I would love to do more of these books, even if it takes another 3 or 4 years again. But I think now that I know exactly what I'm doing, it's going to be a lot easier, and I know the process and the flow of things. But yeah, please try it out. There's 25 unique recipes to try, and I'm proud of every single one of them, and they're so different from each other, all of them. And really delicious. I made one of my friends, and definitely a few others too, put on a lot of extra weight for this project because I needed everyone's opinions. But yeah, thank you for still supporting this channel, and I hope you buy the book, love it, and let me know how it goes. Please do send pictures if you can to maybe my Instagram account. I'll link it down below in the description box, because I love to see other people attempting the recipes. Thank you very much. Anyway, nice to talk to you guys. Bye.